okay, yes, winning a championship is great and it's awesome in the moment, but what makes it that much more special is the pursuit of that happiness along the way. What is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of The Morning Takeaway, aka the Inside Influence Podcast. I know I keep saying that, and it feels like I keep reiterating this idea, but I have made some progress on the Inside Influence Podcast, and will be coming to you shortly in the next few months with those guests and with those in-person connections and just having a more free-flowing experience of conversation and takeaways and adding value, right? I'll still do these solo episodes, but without getting too crazy into it, I'm sitting here in Hawaii. It's actually my last day in Hawaii, and I'm kicking myself because this little area that I have is super aesthetic, and I'm kind of loving it for this podcast, but to each their own. Anyways, I want to hit on a quick quote that was really, really playing in my brain today, and I want to kind of expand on it and then let you go about your day. I want to, kind of talk about the idea of happiness. And I was listening to a podcast, and I have to give Alex Hormozy all of the credit. If you haven't looked him up, he's a business guy. He's a content king. He puts out like 300 pieces of content across platforms every day. But that's besides the point. And I want to reiterate this quote, and what he said was something along the lines of, take a look in the mirror. You have already achieved, now I'm losing it. You have already achieved goals that you said would make you happy. I'm going to say that again. You have already achieved goals that you said would make you happy. And I want to expand on that, right? I think the world that we live in a constant state of comparison and a constant state of chasing something else and a constant state of how can we, get the next best thing, quote unquote, it's always I'll be happy when. And a lot of times in life, if you look back on what made you the happiest, a lot of times, and I know I can speak on this for myself, not even a lot of times, pretty much like, okay, yes, winning a championship is great and it's awesome in the moment, but what makes it that much more special is the pursuit of that happiness along the way. And to me, that is where this quote is so powerful. It's because when you have those days and you have those times of, oh my goodness, the overwhelm or the I wish I had this, or I wish I could get there, right? Like I saw something the other day. It's like we could be sitting on a beach in Cabo and looking at our phones, forgetting about the existing environment that we are in, and looking at something on our phone at somebody in the Maldives and saying, and saying, oh my gosh, I wish I was there. Like, it's so beautiful there. And forgetting exactly about what's going on around you. And then you take it on the flip side and you look at the person in the Maldives and they're looking at you in Cabo saying, oh my gosh, I wish I was there. It's so beautiful. Now, that leads me to my next thought of this constant chase of happiness and the idea of the pursuit. And again, I think those moments, especially for me, speaking personally, it's within the journey. And I actually put something out the other day on my Instagram story along the idea of success. And the word quote unquote success has a lot of different, I guess, definitions. And a lot of people, they'll define it as like once you reach the top, or the financial stability, or winning a championship, whatever that idea of success is. And for me in that moment was this hike. It was climbing to the top of the mountain, and the success was the view. But I got to reflecting on that on the hike, and I was like, wait, like this process of getting to the top is exactly what we're looking for. It's the, oh my gosh, I'm take one more step and I'm going to get there. Yes, it's rewarding at the top, but once you get to a top, how do you continue to push forward, and how do you continue to set a new standard, set a new goal, and not get complacent with being at the top. Like, okay, great. I've reached to the top of the mountain. Well, what's the next mountain that we're going to climb so that we can continue to feel that productivity, that happiness, that joy, that fulfillment, that contentment, everything that comes with the idea of success. And you ultimately feel all of those things, yes, at the top, and quote unquote, when you reach success, but you feel it even more present when you're on the way there in the pursuit of happiness. And I think that, I want to hit on one more thing before we wrap this up, and the idea of like, how do you get to that? How do you feel those moments of success and those moments of progress? And again, the word quote unquote success for me is that process along the way. And I think it gets coined pretty regularly, like enjoy the process, but I'm a firm believer in that. Enjoy your process because it is unique to you. And that is truly all that matters. If you spend all your time trying to get somewhere that somebody else is, and you maybe copy their style to get there, well, when it breaks, you don't know how to fix it because you didn't build it, right? And that idea of that process and knowing that it is your own unique process is so powerful. But again, I got a little off track right there, but how do you get into that state of enjoying the moment for what it is, right? And I think that really comes down to the old saying of be where your feet are, and increasing the frequency to stop each day and say, hey, I am feeling this in this moment, and recognize like, hey, this is what I'm feeling. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever it is. If you're on a run, you're like, wow, this sucks. Well, if you sit and stop, and not necessarily stop the run, but just recognize like, hey, I am recognizing that I'm recognizing that this sucks. That is a state of meditation. That's a state of presence. It's a state of coming back to a center, right? It's the when you're done with the run and the endorphin high kicks in and you're like, oh my gosh, I just accomplished something so cool, and I proved it to myself, right? Stop and recognize, hey, this is present. I feel great, and increasing that frequency each day. And taking at least one moment, maybe 3, maybe 5, maybe as many as you can possibly fathom for the day, right? And I think that's super powerful in this whole quote of you have already achieved goals that you said would make you happy. So again, I just wanted to reiterate that. I've been chewing on that all day ever since my run, and it's been really smacking me in the face. So I hope you, and maybe one of these days, once I get the Inside Influence rolling, we'll have Alex Hormozy himself to come on the podcast and kind of reiterate some of these Hormozy-isms that he has. And, again, I have my own, and that's kind of where these takeaways come from, but also it's the takeaways that I take from others that I love to expand on, because I think obviously everyone has value to give, and there's value to be taken in, not only for myself, but for you all. And if there's something that I can hear and potentially share it and make an impact on one of you, again, as I always say, if somebody could jump on a camera and a microphone on YouTube and ultimately change my life and change my perspective on life, then I hope that I could have some kind of that same impact on you. And if I do, I would appreciate if you share this episode, share any episode that you might take something away, with a loved one, with a friend, with somebody that you think might take something away from it. And so I guess that's all I have for you today. As I get ready to go to the airport, I'm gonna go back to Oakland for a week, and then I am continuing on with my nomad travels. But wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever journey you're on, remember that you've already achieved goals that you said would make you happy. Enjoy the pursuit of happiness, and increase that frequency of presence and noticing your presence throughout the day. So that's all I've got for you. Don't forget to like this episode, comment your thoughts, maybe something you took away. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I have a lot of people that are listening but aren't completely subscribed to the channel. Again, workouts every Wednesday, podcast Thursday, vlogs on Sundays. So again, I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you have an awesome freaking day. And don't forget to smile.